Southern University Sports and SWAC Athletic. A Baton Rouge Sport Talk tradition. Now, here's your host, Reggie Flood.
Good morning. 7:15 a.m. The Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry Whitey's Reggie Flood.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rocking and rolling this morning.
Getting rocking and rolling, man. Look, Flood, for me in the mornings, them doggone trains, bruh. I got caught up by a train, and it wanted to stop on me, and guess what it did? It STOP'd on me, man.
For me in the morning, it's sleep. It's sleep. I want to stay in bed. Guess what I was trying to do? SLEEP.
Hey, all the S's this morning, isn't it?
That's right. That's right, man.
Look, go back to last week, man. I know you. What y'all call yourself? The Niner gang, or you? Is it the Niner gang? What are you? What y'all call
right.
y'all pocket?
Bang bang, Niner gang, baby. Yeah. Bang bang, it's the Niner gang.
They moving on into the NFC Championship tomorrow against the Eagles, man. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles taking on the 49ers. Oh man, I think this ought to be one hell of a game.
Yeah, it should be, man. It should be. I'm looking forward to it, man. A lot of people picking the Eagles, of course, and I understand that. But, I'm riding with my Niner gang, baby.
That's what you rocking with?
Got to.
Let me look
What else would I do?
I don't know. You going to roll with it. Y'all are a posse. That's what y'all are. Y'all like the hooligans in soccer.
No, we exactly what we say we are. We the Niner gang, baby.
Oh, man. Look back at the Eagles in their last 5 games. Win over Chicago 25-22, losses to Dallas as well as New Orleans 40-34, and then 20-10 to New Orleans, but then getting a victory over the Giants 22-16, and then keeping it rolling 38-7 over the Giants again with Jalen Hurts coming back. And as far as the 49ers in their last 5 games, they have been rolling a 37-20 victory over the Washington Commanders, a 37-34 overtime victory over the Vegas Raiders, and then a 38-13 victory over the Arizona Cardinals before they jumped into the playoffs, getting a 41-23 victory over the Seattle Seahawks, and a 19-12 hard-fought victory over the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sure now, the Cowboys and what are y'all? The Niner gang. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Yeah. 2 obnoxious fan bases come together for a football game. The 49ers and the Cowboy fans, it gets no more personal than those 2 fan bases, Flood. What? The 49ers fans, man, will take over, but the Cowboys fans, the only thing about them is the delusion of every year, which every year seems to be their year until they hit the playoffs. But it's just the energy that they bring into it. It's the thought of those. The Cowboys treat their team as though they the Alabama Crimson Tide, where they think they go into the championship every year, as though they've won championships.
If they had won a championship in the last 30 years.
I'm gonna try to get out of you some trash talk. Come on now.
The Cowboys. They in the past, man. The Cowboys ain't nobody to us. They never have been. 1981 to catch. The Cowboys ain't nobody to us.
All right, we move on. This is a good one that I like in this matchup. The Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Joe Burrow, for the 2nd consecutive year, has led his team to an AFC championship. They'll be taking on Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Of course, if you watched last week's game, Patrick Mahomes was injured in that game. Looked like could have tweaked his knee, ankle, somewhere around in that area. I'm pretty sure they're not going to really tell us fully. They said something to try to make it seem like it wasn't as big as it is. But Chad Henne, former Michigan quarterback, comes into the game. He's been a career backup at Kansas City. But when I saw Chad Henne, I said, man, I remember this guy back in Michigan with Mike Hart and all those guys, man. I didn't realize it has been such a long time with Chad Henne been in the game in the NFL, Flood.
Yeah, Chad Henning has been around for a while, man. But shoot, tell you what, if Chad Henning is in the game against Kansas City for Kansas City this week, unless it's in the late in the fourth quarter, and they going into victory formation, Kansas City might be having some problems. But Mahomes says he's healthy. He says he's ready to go. So that high ankle sprain, they worked some miracles, I guess. But we'll see. Well, I'm sure he'll take a good shot before he goes out there, and a good shot at halftime.
You better believe it, because it's going to be cold out there.
You know, I ain't talking about a shot of alcohol. I'm talking about a shot of pain.
It's all right. That's for us.
He says he's ready. He's feeling better than expected. So we'll see how it goes. But that's going to be an interesting game. Burrow and Mahomes playing against each other, man. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, Burrow is kind of seemed like he's put himself right there. When you talk about elite quarterbacks in this league, you look at Cincinnati's last 5 games, getting a 34-23 victory over Tom Brady, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a 22-18 victory over New England, 27-16 over Baltimore. And a game that shocked me last week, the way Cincinnati came out against Buffalo and Josh Allen, man, they came out clicking on all cylinders, jumped out on a 14-0 lead against them, and there was no looking back in that snow up there in Buffalo, man. Were you surprised the way Cincinnati came out and really established themselves as the dominant team in that ball game? Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, he dominated. Mixon had a great game. Offensive line had a great game against Buffalo. So if they can run the ball like that against Kansas City and keep Mahomes off the field, it's going to be interesting.
And that's big to say for Cincinnati when you say offensive line had a great game. Last year, that offensive line was atrocious. Joe Burrow got sacked more than any quarterback in the league last year because of that offensive line, and they still found a way to get to the Super Bowl, man. What an amazing run they had last year, trying to keep it going again today. Kansas City in their last 5 games beating the Houston Texans 30-24 in overtime, a 24-10 victory over Seattle, 27-24 victory over Denver, a 31-13 victory over the Raiders, and a 27-20 victory over Jacksonville. How about Jacksonville this year turning things around and being able to be a playoff contending team?
Yeah. Who would have thought that they would be? But they have, for whatever people think about Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is a pretty good quarterback, and he's developing and getting better on a team that was really not a good team, but they're building it around. Their defense has gotten better, which is always the way you start building a winning franchise. And, you see them coming to their own, making the playoffs this year. Things are looking up. Trevor Lawrence did play well, so hopefully he'll learn something from that and continue to grow. But, yeah, things are looking up in Jacksonville. And Doug Peterson is showing, man, he can coach. Took the Eagles to the Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. And for some reason, they decided to fire him 2 years later. Don't understand that. But now he shows back up at Jacksonville, takes Jacksonville to the playoffs.
Yeah, they were a dumpster fire under Urban Meyer. I'm not sure what he was doing, but Doug Peterson, a Louisiana guy right there out of the Shreveport area, showing that he's proven on the next level in the NFL. And I think that proves what you can do if you can turn Jacksonville around, a team that is not a playoff contending team each year. We've seen them over the past few years where they've been. When you look at this ball game, Cincinnati averaging 26 points a game, giving up 13 points a game, averaging 378 total yards. On the other side, Kansas City is averaging 29 points a game, giving up 20 points a game, but they're putting up 424 total yards a game. Defense giving up 361 yards for Kansas City. Cincinnati giving up 354 total yards. Out of that, 245 in the air, 109 on the ground. On the other side, Kansas City a little bit more generous on the ground, 144 on the ground, but a little bit more stingier in the air, giving up only 217. Who you like in this ball game between Cincinnati and Kansas City?
Just my gut instinct says that Cincinnati wins. I may be wrong, but that's just my gut instinct that says Cincinnati wins this game.
Joe Burrow on the season passed for 4,475 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions coming to this game. Patrick Mahomes on the other side, 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Jamar Chase, man, he's been getting it in this year. 1,000-yard receiver, 87 receptions for 1,046 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns on the other side. Travis Kelce, man, was he a big target last week? If you were fantasy or if you do sports betting, all right? He was my guy last week. Anytime touchdown, I go with him every time, all right? But the thing about it was he had scored his first touchdown. It had been a while for Travis Kelce with terms of a touchdown, but 110 receptions for 1,338 yards, 12 touchdowns on the season. Man, you doing any online betting this weekend for this game, or you don't really too much fool with that?
Nah, I check out the numbers, and I'm tempted, but I haven't really gotten into it. But I do check out the numbers. You know, I do have a couple of people that I have that come on and give the betting lines and stuff. But nah, I haven't really gotten into it to put my personal money up on it.
Yeah, this ought to be a good betting weekend, especially when you look at the individual accolades to this. Right now, 49ers and the Eagles in the spread is 2.5. When you look at the money line, it is going in favor of the Eagles right now. Over under points for that total in that ball game, 46.5. You think they can get over 46.5 in that ball game in total points for the Eagles and 49ers?
I'll take the defense that they play.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the over.
Mm-hmm.
Take the over. Slightly.
Slightly.
Over in that game. Yeah.
On the other side, for Cincinnati and Kansas City, the spread is 1.5. I'll take that spread. 46.5 is the over-under for the 49ers Eagles. Oh, I like that. On the other side, Cincinnati, Kansas City, 1.5 in the spread, which that is both teams. When you look at 2.5, 1.5, I take that all day, every day when you look at these ball games. But the money line is in favor of the Chiefs by not much, but they're over under in that one 48. You think that one gets over 48? Gets a little offense in that one, huh? Not so much defense. Now, let me ask you this quickly. We helping people out here. Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown? Yeah. So they do the anytime touchdown bet where you choose whatever player and just put up for a bet to say anytime touchdown from that player.
Or the Niners win, Christian McCaffrey definitely scores.
Brock, how do you say, is it Purdy? Purdue? Purdy? Purdy. All right. I know he went to Iowa State. Over under in this game passing 218 yards. Yeah, that tight end would be big for him along with that running game to complement. I think he could probably get that. Jalen Hurts, over under 247 passing yards in this one. You got to be a bad boy to be able to pass against that 49ers defense.
Some time in the pocket, which he definitely can do. I just don't know if Philadelphia puts him in that position that many times.
Let me do this one with you. Jamar Chase for Cincinnati against Kansas City. Anytime touchdown. You think Jamar Chase can get into the end zone?
Yeah. I think he gets to the end zone.
Now, this is going to be the one everybody's going to look for when you look at passing yards. Patrick Mahomes, over under 285 passing in this ball game. Injury, even with the injury, you a roll with that? Joe Burrow. I'm with you on that one because I think, you got to give it your all with this one or you going home. Joe Burrow, over under 277 passing in this one. And who you got in the money line? You say you was going Cincinnati. Yeah, Cincinnati will win you some money. They in the plus if you can roll with them in the money line. Now, this is the tough one because I'm not sure about Travis Kelce in this one, but we'll end it with this one. Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown. You think he can get that end zone? Yeah. You'll rock with that one? big weekend in the NFL as we're talking about. It is the AFC and the NFC championship tomorrow. 49ers versus the Eagles kick off at 2:01 Central Standard Time. And then Cincinnati, Kansas City kicks off at 5:31. Should be a great Sunday, fun day, great day for NFL football. And right now we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll keep things rolling. So stay tuned to more of the Jaguar Journal.
If you're looking for quality concrete work, call Jason Lee's Concrete. Affordable prices, licensed and insured.
Providing COVID-19 drive-through community testing at their Baton Rouge clinic. Testing is available for anyone with or without symptoms and no doctor's order required. No insurance? CareSouth will cover the cost. CareSouth is a federally qualified health center providing comprehensive medical, dental, and behavioral health services, offering telehealth services and an in-house pharmacy. Satellite clinics in Donaldsonville, Plaquemine, and Zachary. At CareSouth, we're here for you. CareSouth, family serving families. CareSouth is now providing COVID-19 drive-through community testing at the...
Just come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same...
correctly. Since 1988, thousands of satisfied customers throughout Louisiana have trust Hunt's Tire Pros and Car Care. Visit them online, HuntsTire.com. Hunt's Tire Pros and Car Care Center, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Hunt's Tire Pros and Car Care.
When it comes to celebrating life, there's no better place than Ruffino's. With locations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, Ruffino's is a steak, seafood, and Italian-inspired restaurant that focuses on the celebration of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit ruffinosrestaurant.com. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Don't miss the chance to win $200 with Homegrown Holidays. Shop in your neighborhood now through December 31st and enter for a chance to win. Presented by the New Orleans Business Alliance, Homegrown Holidays encourages shoppers to support small businesses in Algiers, New Orleans East, Gentilly, Gertown, Holly Grove, the Lower Ninth Ward, and Treme. Stop by any of the 50 participating local retailers for a chance to win. Visit nolaba.org for more information.
Jaguar Journal, we are back. I'm Perry White, he's Reggie Flood. Getting it rocking and rolling this Saturday morning. Let's jump over to some baseball. Southern University released the 2023 baseball schedule featuring 18 home games. Coach Crenshaw and the Jaguars have a host of teams that they'll be playing, and one of them will be crosstown, the number 1 ranked LSU Tigers. They also take on number 22 ranked Mississippi State, number 34 ranked Houston, Incarnate Word, UL, South Alabama, Iowa, Pepperdine, UNO, McNeese, and Nicholls State, just to name some teams in the non-conference side of things. And, of course, in conference play, Alcorn State, Texas Southern, Grambling, Prairie View, UAPB, all of those teams Southern will face as they get the season opened up on February the 17th against Jackson State in Minute Maid Park for the HBCU Classic, followed by a game against Grambling and Texas Southern. That should be a big one. You be talking about going over and playing in a Major League Baseball park over in Houston against your rival like Jackson State to start the season out, Flood.
Yeah, that is. That's big to kick off the season, man. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. And, playing in a Major League Baseball park and getting that kind of exposure, that's good for the teams, good for the coaches and players. So, yeah, that should be an exciting weekend.
Then they'll be down in New Orleans for the Andre Dawson Classic as they open up against Florida A&M on Friday, February 24th, before following up with matches versus Alabama State and Alabama A&M on February the 25th and the 26th. I've always liked that Andre Dawson Classic down in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun, man. Looking forward to that. I hope it's warm. But I know Friday night on that lakefront is usually going to be the wind whipping and it's going to be chilly.
Southern's baseball fell short last year in the tournament. Went on a little run, but they fell short to possibly go for a third consecutive SWAC championship in baseball. What's your expectations for Coach Crenshaw and this Southern University baseball team this year as they roll into another season here in 2023?
Crenshaw, he seems to be very confident in his team. He says that they have depth in pitching, which is very important in college baseball. And they can win in a variety. He expects them to be able to win in a variety of ways. And if that's the case, then you expect championships. And that's Southern University baseball.
Southern University baseball expecting championships. Should be interesting overall for the SWAC this year in baseball. Last year, you look back at it, anybody surprised you last year that, ultimately took off? And I'm still waiting to see what Texas Southern is going to do to see if Texas Southern gets back to its dominance in baseball, because it seemed like it's been a while since we said the name Texas Southern being good in baseball in this conference.
Yeah, seeing if they can get back. I mean, the state of baseball in the conference is good, but Texas Southern, who has been a traditional power, hadn't exactly been in that mix the last few years. So if they can get back in the mix, man, yeah. I mean, it'd be great to see that. I've even seen some knockdown, drag-out games between Southern and Texas Southern.
Yeah, Jackson State, Alabama State seem to be the teams on the other side. Jackson State typically puts a good product out there, but even Florida A&M has been a pretty good ball club, especially when they was over in the MEAC. But now being in the SWAC, they bring another brand now to the conference when you talk about baseball, especially over in that East. And that East, when you look at Jackson State, Alabama State, and Florida A&M, man, that makes up for a good run to see who's going to be dominant over there on that side.
Yeah, that East side, man, the two teams, you know, to look out for have been Alabama State and Jackson State. FAMU it had came out, you know, and they played well last year. Southern, they played some tough games against FAMU. I'm wondering, you know, you kind of thought that Bethune-Cookman would be in the mix. They have been a traditional power, but they've kind of fallen off some now. But yeah, man, you know, baseball in the SWAC has gotten competitive because it used to be on the East side. It was only one team. It would only be one team a year, but now with Jackson State and Alabama State kind of battling, Jackson State hadn't had the postseason success that they would like, but Alabama State has been there right there every year, and they play a good brand of baseball.
If the SWAC listen, man, bring that old SWAC tournament out of Atlanta and bring it back to this side of the South, all right?
Yeah, I guess that's who did it for, but I really honestly don't get that, why you would take that tournament and move it all the way to Atlanta. But hey, who am I? What do I know?
Man, I'm not a big fan of that at all. I'm pretty sure, you know, fans like us would love to see it down in New Orleans. I enjoyed the turnout. And on top of it, seemed that stadium just is it what's the name? Wesley Barrow? Is that
Wesley Barrow?
Barrow, yeah.
Wesley Barrow Stadium.
That stadium seems to be just the right setting with just the right amount of seats in the stands, with enough fans to put in there to make it a great atmosphere. Instead of going to these big venues with not a lot of fans in these stands. And I think we saw that same thing started to transpire with the SWAC championship in football as you jump to venue, going from Birmingham to Houston. But now it seems to fit well if you do it on campus. But I know it's different in baseball, but I'm not a huge fan of these big venues. They'll be playing it at Georgia Tech's baseball field. But for me, I don't think you're going to get the support from the city of Atlanta when it comes to baseball the same way that they believe, for me, that I think that they believe that'll happen for that.
No. People, I mean, I may be wrong, and they may be looking at it and say, well, if we get 500 fans at Georgia Tech, it'll be the same as getting 500 fans at Wesley Barrow. So I don't know. I don't know what the major metrics are. The metrics are for success in that tournament. You know what their metrics are. So I like having a tournament at Wesley Barrow, and you know, somewhat for selfish reasons because it's close to us. But I think it's a great atmosphere. And up until this week, we thought it was going to be at Wesley Barrow, and then we found out that the tournament was going to be in Atlanta. For the past few months, the word had been that it was going to be back in New Orleans at least for this year. Then we found out this week that the tournament was in Atlanta and being played at Georgia Tech Stadium.
Be interested to see how that unfolds and what the crowd looks like. If you are in the Atlanta area and a HBCU supporter of baseball, be sure to go out there and support the SWAC baseball tournament as it makes an appearance in the Atlanta area this year. SWAC teams from all around the conference will be right there competing to host up that trophy as a SWAC champion and possibly get their opportunity to jump into a regional somewhere around the country to represent the SWAC. All right, 7:45, we got to get ready to take a break. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Your business needs serious hustle? Our internet has plenty. Switch to Rev Business All Fiber Internet with fiber optic velocity close to the speed of light. Sign up and get 3 months free and 30% off. Build your plan at letsrev.biz. Let's Rev. Whoever said you can't have it all, never had internet that could do it all. Switch to Rev. No contracts, no data caps, no nonsense. Just all fiber internet all the time. Build your plan at letsrev.com. Let's Rev.
Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Are your deductibles too high? Or are you completely uninsured? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Healthcare Help Desk can help you now when people need help the most. Health insurance laws and rules have changed. If you have Obamacare, are uninsured, or your premiums are too high, call Healthcare Help Desk. It's free. New healthcare plans are available, and you may qualify for dental coverage and lower copays and deductibles. Make the free call now. Top quality coverage at the lowest prices anywhere. You may be paying too much and not even know it. In these troubled times, healthcare is more important than ever. Don't let another day go by without health insurance. Policies are being offered with very low copays and deductibles. So if you're uninsured, underinsured, or paying too much, call Healthcare Help Desk.
Call 800-301-7166. 800-301-7166. 800-301-7166.
Did you know since 1970, there have been over 2,000 school shootings in the United States? The number one cause of death after a mass shooting is uncontrolled blood loss. Save Our Kids with a Z was founded here in Louisiana by a school resource officer. Save Our Kids collects donations to place tourniquets and choking rescue devices in all grade level schools in the United States. Donate today at savekids.com. That's SAVEKIDZ.com or at any Hancock Whitney bank. Be part of something great.
You know what you would do if you were in a car wreck? It's easy to panic when you or someone you care about is hurt in an accident. Who will pay the medical bills? Who will pay the car repair? Who will deal with the insurance companies for you? Protect your rights. You need someone you can trust. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 343-1111. The law offices of O.C. Brown will handle everything for you. 343-1111 or online at ocbrown.com. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime. Buying a house, starting a business, having a baby, preparing for retirement. My friends at Gulf Coast Bank and Trust are ready to help you realize your dreams and navigate these life-changing events. The difference at Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is that all of their easy-to-use technology is backed by real people in our community who are invested in your success. No matter your goal, Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is here to make it happen. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Don't miss the chance to win
Care South is now providing COVID-19 drive-through community testing at their Baton Rouge clinic. Testing is available for anyone with or without symptoms and no doctor's order required. No insurance? Care South will cover the cost. Care South is a federally qualified health center providing comprehensive medical, dental, and behavioral health services, offering telehealth services and an in-house pharmacy. Satellite clinics in Donaldsonville, Plaquemine, and Zachary. At Care South, we're here for you. Care South. Family serving families. Care South is now providing COVID-19 drive-through community testing at their Baton Rouge clinic. Testing is available for anyone with or without symptoms and no doctor's order required. No insurance? Care South will cover the cost. Care South is a federally qualified health center providing comprehensive medical, dental, and behavioral health services, offering telehealth services and an in-house pharmacy. Satellite clinics in Donaldsonville, Plaquemine, and Zachary. At Care South, we're here for you. Care South. Family serving families. Care South is now providing COVID-19 drive-through community testing at their Baton Rouge clinic. Testing is available for anyone with or without symptoms and no doctor's order required. No insurance? Care South will cover the cost. Care South is a federally qualified...
Yeah, YouTube usually about 2 minutes behind the broadcast before coming back from break.
Yeah, I just want, we're trying to make sure we got this thing rolling. Flood came out interested in MEAC SWAC Challenge moving forward in the future. The Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge. Southern University is set to join this thing out in Atlanta, but Southern will face North Carolina Central in 2025. You see in 2026. Alabama State versus South Carolina State, man. And so it'll be interesting moving forward. You got Jackson State versus South Carolina State in 2023, Norfolk State versus Florida A&M in 2024, Southern versus North Carolina Central in 2025, and South Carolina State versus Alabama State in 2026. That South Carolina State, boy, they get more appearances than anybody in this one.
Yeah, I guess they agree to play it more. What's interesting is that Southern's athletic director came out and said that game wasn't affirmed. It wasn't confirmed. No contracts have been signed. That they just had a soft agreement to play in that game so far.
I know they won Norfolk State and FAMU, but I would have loved, Flood, Southern versus Norfolk State.
Yeah, that seems like that would be, considering everything that's going on, that would be one that they would be trying to match up.
I don't know how they missed out, how you pushed over that one. I'd give North Carolina Central against FAMU. Let those two old MEAC foes go against each other, right? Even though it's Norfolk State as the old MEAC foe, I'll put those two. If you want one, put Southern and Norfolk State and watch Southern fans show up to try to see what Southern can do against former Southern University coach Dawson Odoms. That within itself for me will be a seller.
I think they'll show up for the Central game too.
Trey Oliver
fans gonna show up in Atlanta, period. But I think unless we just look terrible by that time, but I doubt it. If Southern has a competitive team, they're gonna show up in Atlanta regardless. But I think Trey Oliver, they'll draw a little heat from Trey Oliver too. So,
but the Southern fans really, because it's a love-hate relationship, and it's mostly a lot of dislike for a lot of Southern fans when it comes to Dawson Odoms and now him being at Norfolk State. You see it on social media. A lot of people say he's not successful there. A lot of people was like, I'm glad he's gone. We moved on. So it's one of those where if you put him on the other side and you put Southern on this side and Norfolk State on that side, man, it could turn out to be something. And, I
don't put much stock. I think the social media people are just, I don't think it's really a dislike for Dawson Odoms among Southern fans. Social media is not a good barometer because a lot of those people on social media don't even go to games. So I don't think it's a lot of dislike for Coach Odoms Southern. I don't think it draws that much heat playing Norfolk State. I mean, I think it's a small number of fans who might find that interesting or whatever, but it's really going to depend on how competitive Southern is. And if Southern is winning games, which we anticipate they will be, it's going to be a packed house regardless.
It will be. Anytime Southern gets an opportunity in the ATL, I remember those games against FAMU in that Atlanta Football Classic in 2011, 2012. That 2011 game, man, was electric when you talk about the atmosphere, 60,000 people in the old Georgia Dome for that ball game. And so Southern's presence in Atlanta definitely is there. Plus, when Southern comes to Atlanta, it doesn't just bring out the Jaguar fans. It brings out everybody because they want to see this brand, and this is a brand that sells, and a lot of people are attracted to it when it comes into town because they want to see the Jaguar Nation. They want to see the football team. They want to see the band. They want to see how we get down when we come in town. But against North Carolina Central, that should be a good one with Coach Trey Oliver, former defensive coordinator at Southern University. So Southern versus North Carolina Central, as Flood say, potentially. Nothing has been signed on the dotted line yet in 2025. But any one of these other matchups interest you? I mean, South Carolina State and Buddy Pugh is, I don't know if Buddy Pugh going to make it to 2026, but he just may. He's made it this far. But Jackson State this year, they'll be back. Norfolk State and Florida A&M, kind of a good game right there. I like that. FAMU fans will show up deep in Atlanta. And then South Carolina State again versus Alabama State. Of course, Alabama State was just in it last year against Howard. But we haven't seen Morgan State in this game yet. Howard was in it last year, but seems to be Morgan, I guess the fan base, the support for them just seems to continue to keep them out of this game right here. We saw Delaware State before in this one. Southern took on Delaware State in 2010, but, it seems to be the rotation of South Carolina State a lot in this one.
Yeah, I think you're trying to get the more popular schools. You're trying to get what's good for television and a fan base that travels. And those are some of the schools that do that. So you're seeing them be featured a little bit more. The Delaware States, the Morgan States, which are in the northeastern part of the country, they don't travel as well and don't if the truth be told, they don't have the name brand that some of the other schools have. So that's probably why you see that. And it's up to the school. The schools have choices, I'm sure if Dell State or Morgan inquired about playing or made themselves available, that they maybe the MEAC would say, hey, we're going to give you guys opportunity.
Do you like the idea of starting the season in Atlanta and finishing the season in Atlanta with the MEAC SWAC Challenge and then ending with the Celebration Bowl there?
Yeah, it's a good marketing concept.
Yeah. ATA.
Marketing concept.
Well,
yep.
If you're going to be there this year, guess what? Jackson State, South Carolina State will have it this year. So that'll be interesting because they're going to have the Orange Blossom Classic as well. So I guess Jackson State will be jumping from Miami to Florida Atlanta to Miami, Florida.
Well, they can get direct flights.
You're using Delta, huh?
Yeah, you can get direct flights. You can get direct flights on pretty much any airline from Atlanta to Miami.
There you go. All right, we at the top of the hour. We got to get ready to pay some bills. When we come back, we'll keep this thing rolling, all right? So y'all stay tuned more to Jaguar Journal.
Our 24th annual Cause Mystic Crew of Mutts Parade is happening Sunday, February 5th in downtown Baton Rouge. This is one adorable event your family will love. Starting at 10 a.m. with the Bark in the Park at Galvez Plaza, a police canine demonstration, then the dog costume contest starts at noon before the parade rolls at 2. There'll be music, vendors, and lots of dogs in costumes. It's the annual Cause Mystic Crew of Mutts Parade, Sunday, February 5th in downtown Baton Rouge. For details and to register your pup for the costume contest, visit CAAWS.org.
Jolie Pearl, a slice of New Orleans and Baton Rouge, featuring oysters cooked 11 different ways. Try our bestseller, the brie and bacon oyster, as well as boudin and barbecue Nola style. Every Tuesday, we feature a different grilled oyster for $1.25. Jolie Pearl, downtown, 315 North Boulevard, in the heart of Town Square. Visit them online at jolieoysterbar.com.
What did you do when you needed new brakes?
I took it to TRICARE.
Why did you take it to TRICARE?
Because in 9 years of going there, they've never let me down. I've had my brakes done, an alignment, lots of oil changes, new tires, and I get my inspection stickers here too.
Take it to TRICARE, Baton Rouge's trusted automotive center. Or call us at 752-3700 or online at TRICAREautomotive.com.
Take it to TRICARE. Otter, you must be joking with that take.
Gordy, not only am I serious, I'm 100% right, and you're completely wrong.
For the love of...
Come on, guys, really?
Hey, it's my friend, former Tiger and attorney, Chris Perrette.
I know y'all don't agree on much, but one thing we can all agree on, when you find yourself in a legal jam, you need to hire the right attorney.
There's no doubt about that, Chris. How can the people find you?
Whether you have been injured in an accident or arrested and need to protect your rights, I want to fight for you. Call me, attorney Chris Perrette at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111.
That number is 343-1111.
Adam and Eve wants you to have the hottest Valentine's Day ever. So we're not giving you 10% off, not 20% or even 40%. We're giving you a whopping 50% off. But why stop there? In addition to 50% off, you also get 10 free gifts. That includes a racy item for him, a sensuous toy for her, and something we know you'll both enjoy. Plus 6 extra special bonus items that are sure to rev your engine, pique your curiosity, and even blow you away. Best of all, free shipping, always delivered in discreet packaging. So have your hottest Valentine's Day ever. Go to adamandeve.com and enter this station's exclusive code at checkout, free66, and get, you know the discount, 50% off almost any item and 10 tantalizing free gifts. That's free66, free66.
Protect your retirement. Visit safemoneyplan.net. It's 8 o'clock.
WBRP, Baker, Baton Rouge. Talk 107.3 FM.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark.
We have to be out here like all night. That's what we're going to do.
That was the sentiment in Memphis Friday and in other cities, but those demonstrations were peaceful. It came hours after video footage was released of police in Memphis beating Tyree Nichols, who died of his injuries 3 days later. It happened earlier this month, and the incident's already brought about some changes.
The 5 officers seen in the Tyree Nichols videos were part of a special unit within the Memphis Police Department called Street Crimes Operation to Restore Peace in Our Neighborhoods, or Scorpion. The unit has now been disbanded, but NAACP Memphis Chapter President Van Turner Jr. says,
if we don't address the root causes of crime, we can never really address everything else that's taking place. So we start there as a community.
The police chief has ordered an outside investigation of the training methods of the Scorpion unit. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Memphis.
And Nichols' stepfather, Rodney Wells, told ABC more police officers should face criminal charges other than the 5 who've already been charged with attempted murder.
There was a white officer that was tasing my son, and we don't understand how come his name was not put out there or mentioned in this whole fiasco.
Investigations continue. President Biden spoke to Nichols' family. He also spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after a shooting outside of an East Jerusalem synagogue left 7 people dead. Another shooting today in Jerusalem's left 2 people hurt. In Washington, there's more scrutiny on Congressman George Santos, says ABC's Mary Alice Parks.
We could be seeing the first signs that Congressman George Santos is in fact facing a criminal investigation. The Washington Post overnight reporting that the Justice Department asked the Federal Election Commission to hold off on taking any actions against Santos with campaign finance violations as the Justice Department conducts its own criminal probe.
You're listening to ABC News.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice the 16-year-old boy who got his first job for spending to help feed his little sisters? Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2, twice the money, but forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Motion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
Former President Donald Trump holds his first campaign events today since he announced his 3rd bid for the White House. He'll speak in New Hampshire and South Carolina. On Friday, former Vice President Mike Pence was speaking at Florida International University and said mistakes were made and that he takes full responsibility. It's after classified documents were found at his home in Indiana.
I directed my counsel to work with the National Archives, with the Department of Justice, and with the Congress to fully cooperate in any investigation.
Mass shootings this week in Half Moon Bay, California that left 7 farm workers dead and their co-worker in custody has brought to light the living conditions for farm workers in that area, says ABC's Alex Stone.
Governor Gavin Newsom calls them deplorable living conditions, and now San Mateo County will be red tagging every unit on at least one farm where the shootings took place. San Mateo County Supervisor Ray Mueller inspected the farms this week and says where workers have been living was shocking.
Basically what looked like sheds, storage containers that people were living in, no insulation, no running water.
Their restrooms were porta potties. Children were living there too. The vice mayor in San Mateo County saying there are other farms that are very similar. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Jaguar Journal, bright and early this morning. Might be too early to say if today was a good day, Mike. We just getting it started. I'm glad that
you still hear the commercials playing.
Commercials still playing. There we go.
There we go. There we go.
Good morning to everybody out there tuning in to us on YouTube as well as listening to us over the airwaves of radio. He's Reggie Flood. I'm Perry White. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to you and good morning to you. All right, let's get it going. Jump right into SWAC basketball on the women's side. Flood, UAPB, Southern University. Southern went on a road trip to Pine Bluff and Mississippi Valley last weekend. And this is one I didn't really see coming, especially the way that it turned out. Southern women's team going on the road, losing to Pine Bluff 70-53 on the road to the Golden Lions. And, man, Pine Bluff had its way in this one. When you look at Pine Bluff shooting 26 of 48, shooting 54%, 2 of 8 from the three-point line, shooting 25%, 16 of 26, shooting 61% from the free throw line. Somewhere, Chris, if you listening, I got these stats for you. I know you about to cringe up. For Southern University women on the other side, 20 of 60, shooting 33%, 3 of 13 from the three-point line, shooting 23%, 10 of 20 from the free throw line, shooting 50%. Southern University women were out rebound 36-30 in this one. UAPB's largest lead was 24. Southern University women at no point led in that ball game. Other scores from last Saturday around women's basketball in the conference. Jackson State women continued their winning ways, getting the victory over Bethune-Cookman 82-60. Alcorn State women, 72, Florida A&M 60. Alabama A&M women in overtime getting a victory over Texas Southern, 72-69. Alabama State in overtime as well, getting a victory over Sandy Pugh. This was two coaches right here. When you look at Alabama State's coach and when you look at Sandy Pugh, two coaches who know this conference very well before I move on, Flood, right?
Yes, yeah, he definitely do. Been around a long time, a lot of years, played a lot of games against each other.
Grambling State getting the victory also on the women's side, 71-57. Then Monday night, Southern University women go on the road again on that long Delta trip going from Pine Bluff to Mississippi Valley over in Itta Bena, and they get back to their winning ways and get back on track as the Southern University women's basketball team get a 74-43 victory over a 2-17 Mississippi Valley. Southern in this ball game shooting 28 of 62 from 45%, 7 of 16 from the three-point line shooting 43%, and 11 of 20 from the free throw line shooting 55%. On the other side for Mississippi Valley's women's basketball, 14 of 30 shooting 46%, 4 of 11 from the three-point line shooting 36%, 11 of 20 from the free throw line shooting 55%. Southern largest lead in this ball game was 33. At one time, Valley had a 3-point lead in this one. Other games from around the conference, once again, Jackson State kept it going. 72-51, Coach Tamika Reed and the Jackson State women's basketball team add another tally to the win column for themselves. Pine Bluff women kept it going, 64-57 over Grambling State women's basketball. Alcorn State 58, Bethune-Cookman 49. Alabama A&M getting a big one over Sandy Pugh and Prairie View. Prairie View lost both games on the Alabama stretch. So they lost to Alabama A&M 66-55, and Alabama State getting a big victory over Texas Southern on the women's side as they kept things going over at Alabama State. Then overall, when you look at the standings, Jackson State at the top of the conference right now at 6-1, along with Alabama A&M at 6-1. Behind them, Alabama State and Southern, both 5-2. Right behind those teams, Prairie View at 5-3, Bethune-Cookman, Grambling 4-3. UAPB, who picked up 2 victories this weekend over Southern and Grambling, sitting right there 4-4. They're 2.5 games out of first place. And behind them, Alcorn State, who will be Southern's opponent today on the women's side at 3-4. FAMU 1-6. Texas Southern 1-7. And Mississippi Valley 0-8. Man, that's pretty tough for them. But Southern's opponent today will be Alcorn State. The Braves and Southern, the women's basketball team, will take on each other. You look at Alcorn State in their last 5 games, a 93-91 loss to Alabama State. They got an overtime victory over Texas Southern, 76-67. They lost to Coach Sandy Pugh and Prairie View by 1 point, 56-55 on the road. And then, of course, as you just heard, getting the victories over FAMU and Bethune-Cookman, both Florida schools, respectfully 72-60 and 58-49. Should be a big ball game today when you look on the women's side. Southern women overall 8-10. Alcorn State women overall 7-11 when you look at this matchup. Big game. Tip-off will be 3 o'clock between these two teams, man. But when you look at Southern University women taking that loss to Pine Bluff, man, that was pretty tough. But so far, the Lady Jaguars, Southern University women's basketball is 4-0 this season when they score over 66 points. So that'll be the big key today. What can they do in terms of good shooting percentage in this ball game? Southern giving up 65 points a game, which that's going to be tough right there in terms of having to stop Alcorn State women's basketball. But when you look at that tough loss on the road to Pine Bluff, but then they were able to get it back together against Valley with 2 losses in the conference, is it time to hit the panic button, or is this ship seems to still be headed in the right direction?
No, I don't think it's time to hit the panic button. I mean, they just got to get back on track and go get some wins. I mean, what are they, 6-2 in conference, something like that, or in something like that in conference?
5-2.
They'll be fine. 5-2 in conference. Yeah, I think they'll be fine. They just got to shoot better, hit their free throws, which has been something that they've struggled with. Coach Funches, I talked to him earlier this week, and he said, they seem to shoot well in practice, but they haven't been able to bring it into the game. So he's going to have to find a way to, help them mentally bring that over from practice to the game. And if they shoot well, they win games. If they don't, then they struggle. So, we saw that against Pine Bluff, but I think they'll be fine. They're right there in the hunt, right there in our 3rd place, I think.
Second place?
They're tied for second. That's right. They're tied for second. And, they got big games ahead of them. So everything is in front of them.
Yeah, big game coming up Monday against Jackson State. Coach Tamika Reed and the Jackson State women's basketball team will be making their way into the F.G. Clark Activity Center. Southern University right there tied for second place with Jackson State leading the way in the standings. Southern is only one game out. Today's game will be big to determine where they go. But if you're looking for women's basketball in this conference and a marquee game to circle, it will be Monday night, Southern versus Jackson State on the women's side. Coach Carlos Funches versus Coach Tamika Reed. These two teams have gone and battled back and forth, but Southern has not had much success since Coach Tamika Reed has been at Jackson State. Many teams in this conference have not had much success against Coach Tamika Reed and Jackson State, as she's been able to find a lot of success. And right now her team once again remains at the top of the conference in first place. You want women's basketball? That should be a great one coming up on Monday. When you look at that matchup, Southern versus Jackson State, man, what do you see in that one, Flood?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a matchup. Coach Funches is that the teams have actually played some tough games. Southern has, had leads late in the game on Jackson State. They just haven't been able to finish. Jackson State always has a size advantage. They have the bigs that play well, but, Southern has played them tough. And but Jackson State has been able to pull away from them late in games. So Southern's going to have to learn how to finish games. I think it'll be another, the pride of Southern's program always being in the mix. I think it'll be another good game. You got them on your home floor for the first time, so you got to try to figure out a way to win the game.
Jackson State women on the road today up in North Louisiana against Grambling. Grambling sitting at 4-3 in the conference. They're 2 games out of first place. So that should be a good matchup for them. I think Jackson State probably gets past Grambling and that one on the women's side, but I'm looking forward to that game for Jackson and against Southern on the women's side on Monday. Alabama State and Alabama A&M both right there in the thick of things. A&M surprisingly right behind Jackson State, tied for first place with Alabama State right there in second place, tied with Southern in first place. What is Alabama State's coach name? I'm trying to think. Is her name Frida?
Frida, yes.
Yeah, Coach Frida. Now, she's always been a hard-nosed coach in this conference. She comes out and stumps those heels up and down the court. And so that was a good matchup. I would have loved to hear the yelling back and forth on the court when she took on Coach Sandy Pugh in Prairie View. And for Prairie View, they're the only team so far to get past Jackson State. Prairie View at a game and a half out of first place. They're currently at 5-3 in conference. They seem to have struggled, though, going on the road to Alabama A&M and Alabama State, taking 2 L's right there. But Coach Sandy Pugh seems to have Prairie View at least headed in the right direction. As one time it seemed like this could be them and Jackson State, but falling on the road to both Alabama schools. But they're still in the thick of things overall, 8-11. 5-3. I was still surprised with that Pine Bluff victory in the women's side, but Pine Bluff getting 2 victories over Southern and Grambling last week. They seem to be catching their stride. They're a good team. They're tall, and they'll definitely bang it out with you when you're talking about on the rebound side of things. So they found an efficient way to be able to put up points and grab down rebounds and get a victory, a huge victory, convincing victory over Southern last week. And Southern shook back, of course, against Mississippi Valley, who sits at the bottom of the conference on the women's side at 0-8. Texas Southern, for me, Flood, still surprising, 1-7 on the women's side in the conference.
I'm not surprised that they've been through so much turmoil in their program that's kind of floated under the radar, from Cynthia Cooper Dyke having to leave under controversy, under a cloud, and the allegations against the program and stuff like that. They've had a lot to do, and now they're trying to rebuild that program.
Yeah. 1-7, 1-18 overall. That's tough for Texas Southern's women. That rounds it out, though. Jackson State, Alabama A&M in first place, Alabama State and Southern in second place. That is the cream of the crop right now on the women's side in the conference. We're going to get ready to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the men's side and go over some scores and some games to look out for this weekend as well as last weekend. All right, so about to take a break. Y'all come back and stick with us. All right, more of the Jaguar Journal.
Are you looking for a safe, healthier work environment with an increase in employee productivity? Look no further than Go 225 Janitorial Services. We can provide a free quote for your commercial cleaning needs. Don't leave your commercial cleaning to just anyone. Your company's image is important to us. We're locally owned and operated and provide a quality, reliable cleaning service every time. Visit Go 225 Janitorial Services online at go225janserve.com or contact us at 225-360-5233.
Hey, it's Matt Moscono from our friends at Mold Zero USA, a healthy solution to a mold-free home. Kill mold, remove odors in your home or office. It is a non-toxic, patented dry fog treatment process with minimal disruption, serving all of the greater Baton Rouge and New Orleans areas. It's Mold Zero. Learn more online at mold-0usa.com. That's mold-0usa.com.
If you've been injured, it doesn't matter if you were hit by a big truck, a smart car, or anything in between. I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one team. Call 387-2323.
LA 21-12671. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Hi, I'm Clay Bear, Louisiana Land Bank loan officer. Louisiana Land Bank is a co-op. We're owned by our member borrowers. When you make a loan with Louisiana Land Bank, we'll pay back a portion of our profits to our borrowers in the form of a patronage refund. At commercial banks, they may take you to lunch, but what we're going to do is we're going to write you a check. That check is something that you can take with you. You can spend it on personal needs. You can put it back on your loan. However you want to spend it, it's yours. If you're looking for a land loan, equipment loan, recreational loan, operating line, give me a call. Clay Bear, Louisiana Land Bank.
Download the Talk 107.3 mobile app, brought to you by Gregory Ricks and Associates. Listen live, find out what you missed on demand, even connect with our social media outlets. The Talk 107.3 mobile app is brought to you by Gregory Ricks and Associates.
Hey guys, this is Todd from Rebel Heating and Air. Your heating and air conditioning system requires essential cleaning and care to ensure efficient and safe operation. Call Rebel today and schedule an appointment. That's Rebel Heating and Air, 929-8944. And remember, the bitter taste of a poor installation will remain much longer than the sweet taste of that lowest price. Call us today, 929-8944. That's Rebel Heating and Air, 929-8944. Or go to rebelheatingandair.com.
LWCC celebrates champions of Louisiana, the people, companies, and nonprofits going above and beyond to elevate Louisiana. Champions of Louisiana are all around us. Do you know of one? LWCC wants to tell their story to instill pride and help this great state thrive. Learn more and nominate a champion at lwcc.com/champions. Together, we are Louisiana loyal.
Picture your dream bathroom. Got it? How about making it happen with David Duvall and One Bath and Closets? For more than 3 decades, David's been remodeling homes with a concentration on the most popular room in your home, your bathroom, whether it's a tub to shower conversion or a complete renovation. The great thing about One Bath and Closets is that David handles everything. One company, one contractor, One Bath and Closets. Check out the gallery of his most recent projects and schedule your free in-home consultation online at onebathandclosets.com. That's onebathandclosets.com.
Don't miss the chance to win $200 with Homegrown Holidays. Shop in your neighborhood now through December 31st and enter for a chance to win. Presented by the New Orleans Business Alliance, Homegrown Holidays encourages shoppers to support small businesses in Algiers, New Orleans East, Gentilly, Gertown, Holly Grove, the Lower Ninth Ward, and Tremaine. Stop by any of the 50 participating local retailers for a chance to win. Visit nolaba.org for more information.
Big, oh, it's live. Whoa, whoa, big, oh, it's live. Whoa, whoa, big, oh, it's live, baby. Whoa, whoa,
The Jaguar Journal. We're back. Here we go. Don't get today started with some big time, right? I'm Perry White. He's Reggie Flood.
Yes, sir.
I like that song right there. I almost want to run it back. Now, we're going to keep it rolling. Let's keep it going. We're on the men's side of things right now in the SWAC basketball. And of course, we're going to jump in and start with Southern because it's the Jaguar Journal, right? Southern University men's basketball traveling up to Pine Bluff, taking on the UAPB Golden Lions. Hey, a little thing for the Golden Lions deep down in my heart somewhere. I like UAPB because I'm from Pine Bluff, right? So I got to show some love. And Pine Bluff made sure they let me know. People called me at that game like, hey, you know we winning, right? I got a lot of calls and texts. They just could not believe that they had an opportunity to catch me when I was down. They beat the women and then beat the men, and I had to hear about it. And I said, you know what, y'all got this one. Interesting enough, UAPB and Southern, although they're Western Division foes, They only play one time. There's not a home and home with this series right here. Believe an error happened in the SWAC scheduling in which they had a mistake of another team in the place of UAPB coming to Southern, and they did not catch that until late. And because of all the plans, travel arrangement had already been made, Southern and UAPB only plays once this year for the first time in basketball. So UAPB will not be traveling to Baton Rouge to do the home and home on the basketball side of things. But they get a victory 62-55. The Golden Lions shooting 22 of 52 in this ball game, 42%, 6 of 23 from the three-point line, shooting 26%, and 12 of 14 from the free throw line, shooting 85%. On the other side, a tough night for Southern shooting as well, 17 of 50. Shooting 34%, 7 of 24 from the three-point line, shooting 29%, 14 of 17 from the free throw line, shooting 82%. UAPB out-rebounded Southern in this one, 40 rebounds to 28. Of course, the Golden Lions' largest lead in that ball game was 19. Southern never led in this game. And then Monday, they went on down to Itabena. Of course, that Delta. Cut me again. There we go. All right. I don't know what you're doing, Mike. Come on now. Wake up. Jaguars travel to Itabena against Mississippi Valley. They shake back an 84-70 victory for the Jaguars, shooting 34 of 60 in that ball game, 56%, 3 of 11 from the three-point line, shooting 27%, 13 of 20 from the free throw line, shooting 65%. On the other side for Mississippi Valley, 22 of 53, shooting 41%, 8 of 18 from the three-point line, shooting 44%, and 18 of 23 from the free throw line, shooting 78%. The Jaguars out-rebounded the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley, 37-27. Southern's largest lead was 15. Valley led by 3 in that ball game at one time. We go back to Saturday, look at some more scores around the conference. On the men's side, Jackson State beating Bethune-Cookman 70-66. Alcorn State men getting the victory over FAMU 57-47. Texas Southern men getting a big victory and a much-needed victory for them, 70-59 against Alabama A&M. Grambling State 65-61 over Mississippi Valley last Saturday, and Alabama State a 1-point overtime victory against Prairie View, 56-50. Then you go over to Monday and some other key games. Jackson State getting a 1-point victory over the Rattlers of Florida A&M, 59-58. Grambling State 77, Pine Bluff 70. Grambling State found a way to cool off the Golden Lions after a big victory against Southern. Alcorn State, today's opponent, 76. Bethune-Cookman 68. Texas Southern getting another victory over Alabama State, 71-65, and Alabama A&M 67. Prairie View 59. You look overall in the conference standing. On the men's side, Southern University still at the top of the conference. Today's game against Alcorn, battle of first place in Baton Rouge at the F.G. Clark Activity Center. Both teams 6-1 at the top of the conference. Should be one hell of a game if you're in the Baton Rouge in the 225-504-318. If you're in the area, you should be at Southern University's campus today. This is going to be a huge game. Alcorn, Southern, two teams close proximity. A lot of Alcorn State Braves right here in Baton Rouge. I'm pretty sure they're listening this morning as well as they always do. But that should be a big one with Southern and Alcorn. Should be a great crowd out on hand for this one. Grambling State and Jackson State both tied for second place. One game out at 5-2. The Golden Lions of Pine Bluff, 1 game and a half out of first place at 5-3, with Alabama State 4-2, 2 games out of first place. And behind them are the losers in the conference. Alabama A&M 3-4, Prairie View 3-5, Texas Southern 3-5, Bethune-Cookman 2-5, Florida A&M 1-6, and Mississippi Valley all the way at that lonely bottom at 1-7. Flood, you look at today's matchup, Southern, Alcorn, battle for first place. Both teams 6-1, should make up for a good one.
Should make up for a good game. Shout out to my man GSP and George and those guys over there. The big bad Braves coming to town, as George would say.
Don't get him none of that.
Yeah, but that's right. It's going to be a good game in the mini dome. It's going to be a battle. Alcorn always comes in. They're going to give Southern their best shot. They scrappy. They're going to come in and play hard. They're going to try to, especially in the mini dome, they're going to give Southern their best shot. And I'm sure they'll have a nice little fan base behind them, considering how well they've been playing. So it's going to be a good matchup.
It should be a good matchup. Jackson State on Monday. This is a team that's in second place. So depending on how tonight go, you'll have a place for first and second on Monday. So big basketball happening this weekend in Baton Rouge for Southern University, hosting Alcorn and Jackson State. Today's game against Alcorn, a battle for first place. Then you got second place Jackson State be in Baton Rouge on Monday. That's always a good one when you talk about the rivalry of Southern and Jackson. Basketball, football, rock, paper, scissors, doesn't matter. That is always a tough one when those two. But so far, Coach Sean Wood's been able to get it done. They stumbled in Pine Bluff, a big stumble at that. Pine Bluff dominated Southern in that ball game. A tough night of shooting, but Sean Woods and his team seems to got it back on track. How you feeling with them so far?
I think they're playing good basketball. They just have to be able to keep it up and sustain it. They're an experienced team. They have some good athletes. They shoot the ball well, and so I like what I've seen so far out of them. They defend well, which they definitely play defense. And so, when you do those things, defense travels. They can take you a lot of places. And when they're shooting the ball well, they're a team that's hard to beat. So, they have a good team. Just going to have to be able to sustain it throughout the season because, we've seen Coach Wood's teams kind of fade at points during the season. Maybe look like they get tired. Maybe they overworked. I don't know. But this team seems like they have legs and they're deep. I mean, they play 9-10 players on this team. So, they're a deep team and they play good defense and they shoot the ball well. So that's the makers of a good team and a team that can go far.
Jaguars are 5-0 so far on the season at home. Southern is second in the SWAC, shooting at 36.4%. from downtown, all right, shooting 48.3% from the three-point line. The Braves on the other side rank 8th in the conference in scoring, 28.3 points per game in the paint. So this should be a good physical matchup with these two teams. It was some good games last year when you look at these two teams. I'm interested to see this one both ways as Alcorn State travels to Southern today. Alcorn State 9-10 overall, 6-1 in conference play. Southern right at 500, 10-10 overall, 6-1 in conference play. These are the two best teams in the conference right now. Southern, oh man, you got to get it done today, Coach Sean Woods. And hey, it's Alcorn. Them Braves are going to be in there, Flood. I already know they're going to be talking noise in there with that purple on, man. I think this should be a good environment today. It should be rocking in the mini dome today. For some reason, I'm feeling that this is what's going to happen. It's going to be rocking in there.
Yeah, I think too. I think it'll be a nice crowd. I think it'll be, a lot of noise talking going on. The band, the students will be back. I think it's going to be a pretty good atmosphere.
One to look forward to, and then of course Monday, Jackson State and Southern. I'll be looking forward to that one as well. What do you like in that matchup with Jackson State right there in second place against Southern? The game also will be on ESPNU/ESPN Plus on Monday.
Yeah, that's going to, of course, that game is always going to have some heat with it. Southern and Jackson State, it's a rivalry in anything. So, looking forward to that game. I think that's one of those games where, the Jags just have to come out and play. I mean, you don't have to get motivated for that game. It's a home game on television versus one of your biggest rivals.
Other games around the conference taking place today, Alabama A&M versus Florida A&M, Jackson State and Grambling, Alabama State taking on Bethune-Cookman. A big one over there in the Houston, Texas area, Prairie View versus Texas Southern, and Mississippi Valley versus Pine Bluff. And then, of course, Monday night, we keep things rolling. Alabama A&M versus Bethune-Cookman, Alcorn State versus Grambling, Alabama State versus FAMU, and the big game, Southern versus Jackson State. That wraps up things on the men's side. We got to get ready to take a break. We're going to come back and keep the conversation going and talk about some more things all around. All right, so y'all stay tuned. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Where will your new Chevy take you this year? Anywhere. It's the perfect time of year to take your next adventure off-road in a powerful Chevy Silverado. Round up the whole gang for some family fun in a Chevy Equinox. Hey kids, let's go. Or take your night on the town by storm in stylish Chevy Blazer. Make more memories and take on the road ahead, wherever it leads you. Find new experiences, find new roads. See your Super Chevy dealers today.
It's a new year, and it's finally time to bring your boat to the level that you've always dreamed it could be with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest in marine electronics. And I'm talking everything from custom speakers to trolling motors controlled by your iPhone, Panoptic sonar with HD displays. You can see the fish under the water before they cast. You want that? You go to front-to-back boat service with not one but two NMEA certified techs. Front-to-back boat service has been family-owned and operated for 30 years by the Sherman family. So go to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green. My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Brian Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing. That's why when I have trouble with my roof, I call Hudco Roofing.
This is for the men who never settle, ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick. The type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera. And the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
At Pluckers Trivia, every team's a winner. Spin the wheel for great prizes like free wings. Love wings. Pluckers gift cards, Amazon gift cards, and prize packs from great local businesses. Let's do this. That's every Wednesday at 8 p.m. at both Pluckers locations. It's a mixture of movies, sports, music, pop culture, nerd, and Name That Tune trivia. I can name that tune in 5 minutes. At Pluckers, every team's a winner. Every team's a winner. Every team's a winner.
Answers to life money problems in real time.
You just figure out what poor people are doing and don't do that. That's a big deal. Figure out what rich people are doing and do that. You want to be a millionaire? Find out what millionaires do and do millionaire stuff. Hello. You want to be skinny? Find out what skinny people are doing. Do skinny people stuff. Hello. You want to be 87 years old and been married 62 years? Talk to somebody that's done that. You've been married 16 times. I hope this one sticks for you, but I don't want to read your book on marriage.
Dave Ramsey, weekdays 1 to 4 p.m. on Baton Rouge's Talk Leader. Talk 107.3 FM, WPRP.
Don't miss the chance to win $200 with Homegrown Holidays. Shop in your neighborhood now through December 31st and enter for a chance to win. Presented by the New Orleans Business Alliance, Homegrown Holidays encourages shoppers to support small businesses in Algiers, New Orleans East, Gentilly, Gertown, Holly Grove, the Lower Ninth Ward, and Tremaine. Stop by any of the 50 participating local retailers for a chance to win. Visit nolaba.org for more information.
All right. Keeping things rolling back here on the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry Whitey's Reggie Flood.
Yes, sir.
National Signing Day coming up February the 1st, and Southern University Athletics will hold its 2023 National Signing Day recruiting bash at TJ Ribs this year, doing something different. Typically on campus in the ballroom, but this year they're moving it over to TJ Ribs. It'll be Wednesday night, February the 1st. Dinner seating will open at 5 p.m. with a chance to meet the coaches and staff an upcoming season along with the Southern University Athletics personnel. Should be a big one. Overtime live TV show with athletic director Roman Banks will begin at 6:30, which will be tape delayed on Pelican Sports and live streamed on the Jaguar Sports Network. So you'll get an opportunity to go in and listen to Coach Eric Dooley discuss who he signed and what this team is bringing in so far, along with defensive coordinator Henry Miller announcing on the defensive side. So they're going to do things a little bit different this year, Flood, compared to what they've done in the past when it comes to National Signing Day.
Yeah, they're doing things really different. And, I think, it'll be interesting to get fans out and get them involved and, at TJ Ribs and be able, I think.
We lose Flood. All right, there we go. We probably lost Flood. But yeah, National Signing Day will be February 1st, Wednesday. So it'll be an opportunity. I know a lot of people that listen and pay attention to the show, they want to know about the recruiting, what Southern has, who they have, what's going on. So this is an opportunity because it's a lot of times, if you think we in the know, we know some things, but these guys keep a lot of things close-knit and keep it under wraps. So Coach Eric Dooley be talking about who they sign on the offensive side, and then, of course, Coach Henry Miller talk and discuss about what they have on the defensive side. It'll be at TJ Ribs this Wednesday. Seating opens at 5 o'clock with a chance to meet the coaches and the staff. Excuse me. So definitely get out there. If you're interested in Southern University football, you want to know what the schedule, I believe they're going to unveil the 2023 football schedule as well. So that'll give you an opportunity to keep things going, to be able to find out. I'm interested to see, because I got a piece of what I think one of the games is going to be, and that'll be Southern taking on Lincoln University, a school out of California, on October the 14th. And with me seeing that, I'm believing October the 14th will be homecoming. Hey, Mike Flood said he's trying to call back. He says the lines are busy, so not sure what's going on with the lines right now, but he says he's trying to call us back in. But I saw that, so I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. We'll find out Wednesday. But Lincoln University out of California, this isn't the regular Lincoln University that you typically would know out of Missouri, but this is Lincoln out of California. They played Texas Southern last year, but this is a team who I saw on announcing on Twitter that they'll be traveling to take on Southern University, another SWAC opponent, as they took on Texas Southern last year, that they'll be coming to Baton Rouge to take on Southern on October the 14th. So if you listen, I believe October 14th is going to be homecoming. That's just me. I believe that's what it's going to be. I don't see us playing Lincoln University for no other reason but for homecoming. But I'll save that until once the schedule released, because then we'll do a schedule review and see how we feeling towards this year's schedule, because I was not a big fan of last year's schedule, seeing Virginia Lynchburg and Florida Memorial. Both of those teams on there just really didn't do it for me, but I understood it was a transitional year, trying to get things going. Let's see if we can get Flood back on the line. Did you try to give him a call? Yeah, the phone lines are tripping. All right, so I'm pretty sure somebody's trying to call in. Hey, Flood, if you're listening, the phone lines are tripping. Let me send them a text. Hey, we got to get these phone lines fixed up in here, man. What's going on? Not you, Mike. I'm talking about overall. This is not Mike's fault, but we got to get the phone lines fixed, man. We can't be having these issues, and we right here. So not sure what's going on, man. Maybe we'll try to get it figured out, get somebody tech support. But yeah, we keep it going. Bethune-Cookman is in the news. Of course, the whole Ed Reed situation has been going on. And man, everywhere I look, I continue to see the Ed Reed, Reggie Theus, the entire fiasco that's going on over at Bethune-Cookman. It has been interesting so far. And for me, man, I didn't have a problem with the decision that Bethune-Cookman made to move on from Ed Reed. And for me, when I say that, because I looked at this as though Ed Reed kind of made a decision to go to Bethune-Cookman. And with him going to Bethune-Cookman, it felt as though when he showed up, he didn't have a clue of what he was getting himself into. It felt as though when he got there, all of this was new to him, as though they said, hey, Ed, we'll give you an opportunity to be the head coach here. And they talked to him on the phone, right? This is not in person. This is on the phone. You want to coach down there at Bethune-Cookman? Sure, I sure do. I want to be a coach. I want to be a motivator to these young men. All right, hey, Ed, we're going to mail you the keys, man. You pull up anytime you want. That's what it felt like by his reaction of the things that were going on around campus and how things were going. And it just did not seem like they were all in sync on the same page in order to understand really the depths of what was going on at Bethune-Cookman. Things were a little bit different when he obviously showed up compared to what he was probably promised. He said his office was not cleaned out. He said there was trash all over the place. But I think most importantly, for a lot of people who say, well, he pointed out these issues that were taking place at Bethune-Cookman. That's fine and dandy. Understand that. I'm okay with that. It needs to take place at a lot of places, right? It needs to take place at a lot of places in terms of being able to call out issues for us to get better. Even right here at Southern, I believe the same thing. At most schools, not even just HBCUs. I mean, LSU, hell, just overpaid Brian Kelly $1 million. So things happen. Right, to call it out, in which the media did, it happened. But I think you just had to look at the way that Ed Reed went about doing it in the way that it happened, that, you know, it just was not for me in the manner that I thought. It turned into an individual perspective, as though it was Ed Reed versus Bethune-Cookman, when for me, I felt like it should have been Ed Reed along with, you got the phone lines going, Mike, it should have been Ed Reed along with Bethune-Cookman. I did not like the separation and the difference when you look at the two and how they operated. And for me, I think that was the terms of why they went in the direction that they did with Ed Reed, ultimately terminate him and moving forward without him. And I would have done the same thing. I brought you in to be friend, not foe. And it seems Ed Reed was turned into the enemy right there in their own home. And I can't invite you into my home and then you're going to do me like that. You can't call your boss a MFer. You cannot create an environment that seems to be hostile. And Ed Reed, you cannot treat the admins there as though they're in the locker room of the Baltimore Ravens. You just can't do that. There's no way, there's no problem to call out issues. Call them out. But you got to be able to go through certain levels on how you do it and go into social media in the way that he did it. The language that was being used and the entire thing, for me, it just didn't sit well with me in terms of how he did it. And now it's all over the place, right? It's all over the place in terms of the way everybody's reacting to it. It has opened up a can of worms when you look at for Bethune-Cookman, and it has them in the news for the wrong reasons. And, you know, this just did not seem to be a good relationship from the start. And I thought there was different avenues in terms of Ed Reed and the way that he could have handled this situation. Now he's upset with Shannon Sharp. And then Shannon Sharp making comments, you know, talking about, and this whole issue of all HBCUs are one, all HBCUs are the same. I think we just got a lot of confusion when it comes to our schools. And regardless if you're black, white, or whatever background that you come in, it seems to be a misconception that all HBCUs are one, they all are the same. Every school has their issues. And it's not necessarily just HBCUs, right? But to make the notion of the idea that HBCUs are just separate and that in this world that we live in, we're the only ones that seem to have issues and mistakes. There are things that we could do better. There is a such thing as accountability that we could be holding people to. But that starts with us to get better. That starts with us in terms of holding our administration accountable. That starts with us being able to be a part of our alumni federations and chapters. That's a part of us having a voice and cutting checks in terms of giving back to our schools. Because how are these schools going to survive without our help? How are we going to push forward and make progress without being able to sit at the table? We sit back, we get on social media, we talk about everybody bad, but what are we actually doing besides running our mouths? And then we allow our HBCUs to be slandered in the way that they do in the national media as though everybody has it figured out in terms of who we are and what we really are. And we allow them to control it. Even with Roland Martin. You know, I know Roland Martin has his media, but he seems to only show up in our downfall and then wants to harp on that. And I made this notion, if Roland Martin says that he has all of this information that, you know, he always wants to compare apples to oranges when it comes to the way the SWAC is ran and the way that our institutions, that we miss out on this and we miss out on that. Well, I say to him, hold a convention and invite our presidents and our ADs and put them in the room with these different medias and these different outlets that'll be able to hold them and show them how it really goes instead of continuously chastising us for views. And the same way with everybody else in the media. HBCUs are not for your laughable moments. We are not for your clicks. We are not for whatever negative things that you have to say about us. We're institutions for higher learning with missions, but we also have to do better as alums. We also have to do better as supporters to make sure that we instill into these institutions that we're here to support and that we'll continue to see these institutions move forward. I always tell people, and I continue to say this, my loyalty lies within the institution and not the individuals. And I think when you saw the whole situation with Ed Reed at Bethune-Cookman, it started to show that he wanted people to have that loyalty into the individual and not the institution. And when you do that, you begin to lose sight of what the mission of overall of what it is, that it's not about one person, but it's about everybody. And how do we all work together and not against? And we got to be able to do a better job of that. Southern University,
all HBCUs. And we got to stop allowing the outside people to come in and try to take what we are and what we have and misconstrue it to put this in a situation as though we're just some broke hood schools that don't know how to operate. Everybody have their issues. The same way everybody's family, I don't care how you try to dress it up with your Christmas pictures, your Easter pictures, everybody has issues, right? Everybody has dysfunction at some point. But we all aren't the same. All right, let's get ready to take a break. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Try to close this thing out. Stay tuned. More to Jaguar Journal.
Hi, I am Thomas Hawkins, and I am a certified technician at Mr. Electric of Baton Rouge, and we want you to work on our team. A competitive salary, vacation, amazing benefits, and so much more makes working at Mr. Electric a great career move.
Visit MrElectric.com to schedule your appointment today.
No more mold. No more damage. No more outdated old bathrooms. No more slipping and hurting. No more stress. Make your ordinary bathroom extraordinary for only $99 per month. New shower, new door, new tub, new wall, new anti-slip technology. Be stress-free. Call 800-770-5322. BCI Bath and Shower is made in America for the highest quality. Ask about our military and senior discounts. Your dream bathroom in as little as 1 day. First 50 callers save $1,500 on a never clear glass treated door. Call now for free premium color upgrades. 800-770-5322. Call BCI Bath and Shower, the leader in bathroom remodeling. Be smart, safe, and stay a step ahead of inflation with our interest-free financing options. Call 800-770-5322. Love your bathroom with free upgrades. Call 800-770-5322. That's 800-770-5322.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona reminding you to stop putting around and take a swing around the parish with Breck's 6 golf courses. Santa Maria and Beaver Creek offer championship designs and amenities, while Webb and Dumas are 18-hole facilities, lending themselves to great golfing value and an excellent experience, while City Park and J.S. Clark are challenging 9-hole courses with easy-to-access locations. So visit golf.breck.org to book your tee time today. Your next hole-in-one is just a few minutes away. golf.breck.org.
I've never seen new tires like that.
I took it to TRICARE.
Why did you take it to TRICARE?
Well, originally, I went to the buy 3, get 1 free place, and then I went to TRICARE for a second quote. And TRICARE was cheaper, without any gimmicks. Now, I get my tires and everything else done here because I trust TRICARE.
For your next set of tires, come to either one of our Baton Rouge locations or call us at 752-3700 or online at TRICAREautomotive.com.
Demco wants to give you the knowledge to be power smart. Simple tips that can help you conserve energy and save money. Sealing air leaks around windows and doors is a good start. Smart thermostats and improved insulation are great ways to make a bigger difference. And remember, ceiling fans only make you feel cooler, so don't use them when you aren't in the room. Visit demco.org to get power smart today.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters and a game and a tie. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Don't miss the chance to win $200 with Homegrown Holidays. Shop in your neighborhood now through December 31st and enter for a chance to win. Presented by the New Orleans Business Alliance, Homegrown Holidays encourages shoppers to support small businesses in Algiers, New Orleans East, Gentilly, Gertown, Holly Grove, the Lower Ninth Ward, and Tremaine. Stop by any of the 50 participating local retailers for a chance to win. Visit nolaba.org for more information.
Jaguar Journal, bright and early on Saturday morning, 8:49 a.m. My Perry Whitey's Reggie Flood.
Sir, back in here.
Hey, let me tell you, my man Mike was working diligently back here, boy. He was scrambling, he was clicking and ticking at all type of stuff, man, trying to get you back in.
Well, this is the advantage of having the YouTube live. You know, I can just tuned in on the YouTube and keep up with what was going on.
My man Mike was trying to get you back in the dough. Hey, I like the effort, Mike. Hey, I'm telling you, Flood, you better pat this young man on the back. He was trying, man. He was clicking. I think He was gonna set up a whole conference on us up in here, man. He was gonna
Yeah, I know. He was trying to get the conference calls going on.
Man, we get ready to close this thing out. Of course, Southern versus Alcorn today at FG Clark Activity Center. Battle for first place in the conference should be big when you look at those two teams. Southern versus Jackson State on Monday night, a rivalry game. Jackson State in second place. Depending on how tonight go, Southern either be in first place or in second place. So altogether, a big weekend of basketball, both men and women. Of course, women's basketball for Southern against Jackson State on Monday will be huge as well. So a good weekend of basketball here in Baton Rouge, both men and women today as well as on Monday. So if you don't have nothing to do and you're in the area, I will advise that you get over to the FG Clark Activity Center and be able to check out some basketball. National Signing Day, Wednesday, February the 1st. I'll be at TJ Ribs, get a chance to go over there and meet the coaches and hear who they signed, because all y'all do is ask me every day. You blow me up about who they signed, what they got, what they doing. Well, guess what? We'll all find out together exactly everything that they're bringing in for Southern University. Offensive side of the ball, Eric Dooley will tell you, and then on the defensive side, Coach Henry Miller will tell you, and it's all to take place at TJ Ribs on Wednesday, February the 1st. They're going to start seating at 5 o'clock, so you probably want to get there a little early. Try to get you a spot. If not, you'll probably be standing up. I would assume it's going to be a packed house for an event like this. It will be a live taking for the overtime series during Roman Banks' show, athletic director up at Southern University. So other than that, Flood, how you feeling?
Oh, man, it's good. Like, I heard what you were saying about HBCUs. All I say is it's HBCUs versus everybody.
Hey.
So, if they want to disrespect it, I feel a real lot of ways because it's coming from the African-American community, but it is what it is. It's HBCUs versus everybody. We're going to stand tall and do what we've been doing, educating the state, the nation, and the world forever. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But man, I'm good. Looking forward to some good hoops this weekend, some good NFL football, and just chilling.
The NFL, you're 49.
Yeah, so we gonna do our thing, and that's what it is, man. That's what it is.
What are the Eagles? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, no, see, that's the difference. Just between us, we don't care what everybody else is doing.
Dang, look at y'all self-centered over there as the Bang Bang Niner gang. Okay.
We don't care what everybody else is doing.
The same way
everybody.
Cincinnati versus Kansas City should be a big one. Man, I like Kansas City. I always tell you my ties to KC and that I really like KC. But it's something about Joe Burrow and that dang on Cincinnati Bengals team that has me nervous. Are we back on there? That has me nervous, man. And, man, I'm not sure when it comes to that, man. I don't know, man, with that one. Cincy and Kansas City can go either way. But you say you're going to rock with Cincinnati. Yeah. This is one of them weekends when I get on FanDuel, I start getting nervous, but they say don't get emotional when you bet. So I'm gonna keep my emotions out of it, and I'm just gonna roll with it. Man, Patrick Mahomes, you got to get in there this year, But if Joe Burrow gets back to a Super Bowl for a second consecutive year, what does this say about Joe Burrow ascending to the top or the elite of NFL quarterbacks?
I mean, he's a leader in this generation, but it doesn't put him above Pat Mahomes. I mean, people forget Pat Mahomes has been to the AFC Championship game 4 of the last 5 years. This would be his 3rd Super Bowl appearance. He has a Super Bowl championship. So what are we even talking about?
Joe Burrow,
not really. Not really. Joe Burrow is just a favorite. He's a favorite because everybody loves Joe. When you look at the numbers and you look at the achievements, no, he really isn't knocking at Patrick Mahomes' door.
Joe Burrow can get a free lunch anywhere in South Louisiana, boy. Let me tell you, this was last year. It was the last game, Saints final against Carolina. I'm in the game. I have never heard Saints fans cheer for no other team ever when they announced the scores, but they announced Cincinnati and Joe Burrow.
the stadium went crazy. For I said, man, I never seen that before. That's how much infatuation and love they have for him simply because he won a national title at LSU. He can never do any wrong. They ought to make him a grand marshal of one of these Mardi Gras parades one day. That would bring out the entire state of Louisiana, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow, they love him here. I mean, he brought the national championship to LSU, probably the greatest season in LSU history. They love Joe, and that's understandable. I'm actually picking the Cincinnati to beat Kansas City.
So you want Cincinnati in the Super Bowl against the 49ers?
That's a rematch of the '89 Super Bowl, baby.
Ooh, so you took it back. You took it back 33 years ago. So far,
rematch of the '89 Super Bowl, Bengals 49ers 20-16. JT Taylor, John Taylor with the game-winning touchdown.
Do you just want to beat up on Joe Burrow? That's what it sounds like.
Nah, man. Yeah. No, I think that'll be a good game, man. I think that either one of them, Kansas City and San Francisco, there's not going to be a bad Super Bowl.
It won't. It will not. And I like Jalen Hurts and what the Eagles have done. When everybody counted out Jalen Hurts, told him he should have changed positions. You should be a running back. You should be this and that. He took on the challenge. He became focused. And he went against the normal stereotype that they have against the African-American quarterback in this league. And he took it on. And he's no superstar at the position, but he's done well enough at the position to lead his team to one game away from the Super Bowl. And I am impressed with that when you talk about Jalen Hurts.
See, to the pundits on those networks, they say Jalen Hurts is not a superstar. But Jalen Hurts has done everything that's necessary to do to get his team to the championship. And when Jalen Hurts was out and hurt, the Eagles weren't the same team.
Oh, they lost to the Saints in that same manner.
Yeah, they're not the same team. They're not even a Super Bowl contender without Jalen Hurts, and we've seen that.
Well, y'all got to deal with them. Look, hey,
it's all great. It's all good. That's what we signed up for. It ain't no easy road to the championship.
It's not, but y'all defense, boy, y'all got a good defense.
Look, Philadelphia's defense is too. Philadelphia have 4 guys on their defense with 10 sacks. Their defense has 70 sacks, so their defense can play too.
So they're gonna make it a hard day for Brock.
We're gonna see.
We're going to see. I'm going to be right there tuned in. I might be texting you back and forth. Now, I know, don't get, hey, if it turn the other way now, I ain't going to antagonize you. I ain't going to badger you and be like, hey, what's going on?
I'm going to answer the text one. Whether we win or lose, I'm not going to answer either way.
Respect the honesty. Thank you to everybody that's out there following us and subscribe to us on YouTube and keeping up with us. We've been on YouTube Live each and every week. Thank you to Mike and the hard work he's done behind the board and everything he's doing to keep us interactive with you guys in so many different ways. Mike, we appreciate you. Shout out to everybody that's out there listening on the airwaves, streaming us as well as watching on YouTube. If you're not and you have not done it already, be sure to go over to the Jaguar Journal on YouTube. Type in Jaguar Journal and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can be able to keep up with us, get the notification every time we go live each and every week. And then, okay, if you don't be able to get up this early, because we are up pretty early to catch the show, you can always go back and be able to watch the show again and share it for anything that you want to talk about or hear about, and bring it up and interact with us in the chat as well. You can follow the Jaguar Journal on Facebook. Also, you can follow Reggie Flood and Perry White, both of us, on all social media, and keep up with us. We love interacting with you guys and being able to do this each and every Saturday. We understand this early, all right? So, hey, y'all keep on keeping on, and we'll be back next week. Flood, get us up out of here.
That'll stay just the same way, at the same time in the same place, because as always,